So in this video I'm going to give you my take concerning Toyota Camry Coupe. So this was produced 90 is it 99 98 to around 2006 or 8, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it was probably like 2008. So and we have the first generation, second generation. So they called their coupe Solara. Solara. So but it's just a Camry coupe. Just like we have Honda Accord coupe, um C class coupe, all that. So this is their coupe, Camry. Unfortunately, it was discontinued. However, this is their second generation, their last generation coupe for the Camry. So if I were to look at this, I find it very unattractive, based on the look, especially the front view. Let me start from there that we are looking at. The second generation, which is supposed to look better than the first generation, the first one, not really. This one is I think it started what's it called, 2004, 2003 or so, which ended in 2008. So that's when this started, 2003, 2004. So the first one ended in 2003, then this started. And let's look at the rear view. I just don't find hold on. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to say it the way I see it. This car is very ugly. Very, very ugly. I mean, Toyota, what are you guys thinking? This is an ugly car. I mean, no way, shape, or form. From the front view, the rear view, just ugly. I mean, coupe are meant to look kind of sporty. What kind of man? This guy is, man. He has impressive power. Don't get me wrong. I will get to that later. But man, the exterior looks quite unattractive. And for me, I believe that was why this Solara was discontinued. Because yeah, I don't know who is going to buy this. Even if you buy it, probably within a short while, you will feel sad, not just bored. You feel sad owning this car. I don't really find who designed. In fact, I would say who approved this, because I know the CEO probably. I mean, Toyota CEO will not be the one to uh, come up with this design. Somebody put that drawing or put and presented it. I was approved. So who made this approval? It looks very horrible. For me, I don't know how. I know some people that currently own this car might feel sad that I'm saying that or feel attacked, but I mean, it is what it is. The car is ugly. I'll say it. Um, but the good side of this is the first generation actually looks much better for me. To me, depending on how you want to put it. Um, so when you look at this is the first generation, which 1998 or 99 to 2003. It has this classic look. In other words, I expect this car to be a classic in the very near future, not the other one. I mean, I'm not saying it looks very good, better than all the Honda Accord. When you talk about Camry, the primary competitor is Accord. So if you want to compete, if Toyota wants to produce a car, they have to look at what Camry, no, what Honda is producing in terms of Accord, Camry, Civic, Corolla. That's how they do the comparison. So that, but the other one, but this one makes sense. At least at that time, I mean, this, even looking at it now, let's look at the rear view. Yeah, look at it. Doesn't look, you know, not necessarily that it looks premium, but it has a decent look. That's where I'm coming from. And the look is something that could last. I mean, if I'm driving this type of car in this condition, exactly as it is, you feel proud of yourself. The car looks very okay, you know, compared to this. Ugh, ugh. The rear view is even the worst. Ugh! Man, and you are wondering why the sale, because that's what I read online, that it was very unsuccessful. Yeah, who would buy this? I wouldn't. I know some would. The thing is, most people, it's just that, see, I'm a Pojo freak, not just a fan. So I understand that, yeah, sometimes it could be defensive, but what I'm saying is, it won't stop me from saying, yeah, Pojo, you messed up here. There are sometimes there are some systems on Pojo cars or Pojo models. I would say, man, Pojo, this is a mess. I wouldn't touch this. I would recommend anybody to buy this. But most time Toyota fans, especially Toyota, usually Toyota, they don't those their fans or this thing. They don't even anything that has that badge. Even when they know it doesn't suit their need, that particular model of car, they will just go for it or advise them. Even if the car have so many issues, they don't care. As long as it has the Toyota badge, it's still good, it's still the best, it's still the people will jump in. So these are the people they made this car for. Anyway, horrible looking car. I wonder why they ended up not buying them that much. I mean, if I were a Toyota, I mean, I wouldn't discontinue the car. What I'll do is, you look at, okay, why didn't it sell as much as the first generation? The car is ugly, so next one you do, you make it look better. Unless probably they didn't even admit or realize that what they produced was ugly. Because if they did, they would like, okay, maybe you could do it better, so to bring back those fans or customers. Anyway, so yeah, this makes sense. And personally, I would prefer this or recommend this because of the powertrain, the drivetrain. Now, let's go back to this. I'm going to be fair to the second generation, even though it looks ugly. I don't even know which one to leave on the screen because I don't want to. Man, gosh. So, in terms of power wise, it came with three petrol engines. I don't know whether it has diesel. So, three engine, 2.2 liter, which has 1.6 horsepower, 2.4 liters, which has 157 horsepower, and 3.0 liter petrol engine, which no, I'm mixing it up. The what I just explained is for first generation. Now, the second generation came with 2.4 liter engine, which is known as is it 2FZ, 2FZ, 2SZ, 2.4. So that's the 157 horsepower. So the the V6 is 3.3 liter, which is the 3MZ. The 3.3 liter, I don't know for what they are saying. They say initially it had about 220 or is it 228 horsepower with over 300 Nm torque. Then later on, I don't know for sure. The power dropped down to 210 horsepower and 290 something Nm torque. So in that case, I would say, yeah, the power makes sense because for the first generation, of course, it has three engine, 2.2, 2.4, and 3.0 V6. And the V6 is 200 horsepower with about three, how many? Is it 320 nm or 300? I don't remember. So, but here is the thing. The this particular one has more power. When it comes to this type of cars, I always talk. Let's forget about the four-cylinder space because this is messing it up. When it comes to the phase one, it has almost the same power with 406. Now, I don't want to compare 406 to this car because they are not matched as a 406. What I'm saying is that it won't be a fair comparison. 406 supposed to be compared to Corolla. So if there's a Corolla Coupe, that's what you compare 406 with. Camry is in the same series with 500, Peugeot 500 series. Unfortunately, at the time they produced this Camry Coupe, Peugeot did not produce an equivalent. That's, if you remember, 500 still stopping with 505 in 1992. They discontinued the production. Now continued with 508 much later in 2010 or so, 2011. So yeah, at that time I can't really compare, but in terms of power, you could say yeah, it's almost the same thing with 406 Coupe V6 power for the phase one. But this has a little bit more power initially, then later it was reduced again to V6. So in other words, I would say depending on the model you purchase, I would say its power are the same. However, I could say the phase one has just a little bit, but the reason why I would choose the phase one, not this phase two, is this one does not have 5-speed manual for V6. It only has automatic for the V6. Let's assume no matter what you like the look, even though I don't, you like the look fine, but it just has for automatic. So in that case, um, that's for me, But if I were to, like I said again, so let's focus on this. Okay, for example, let's look at the engines. So this is the 3.3 in the phase two, which has over 220 horsepower. Then I don't know, there's a claim that reduced to 210, fine. But it has impressive torque, about 310, 320 or that about torque. Later again, they say it reduced to 290 something torque. So it matter what, it be faster than 406 for the phase two. But again, I won't recommend this, even though if you want it, go for it. Now this is the one that makes sense. Now this is the one in phase one, 200 horsepower. So in other words, this has, of course, the 406, for the facilitated 406 has a little bit more horsepower than this. But my point is, at least it's almost the same power with the phase one 406, the D8 V6. So I would say it's just like having a 406 V6 manual in this case. Remember, that's my focus, V6 manual. So even if it's older, for example, I'll give it to it. The second generation interior makes sense. Let's look at yeah. At that time, yeah, it looks very, very good. The design makes sense. I'm not going to deny that. So this is the second generation, which is 2003 to 2008. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's look at so look at it. Though this is the convertible version of it, but basically the same thing. So yeah, it makes sense. The design, of course, not all of them will have this color, but I'm just saying it doesn't look bad. The interior does not look bad. However, this this is the dashboard for the phase one. So, but when you look at it, you can tell that this actually has a classic. This type of interior that I can in future would be a classic interior because it doesn't look so complex. It just simple. Has some buttons, well arranged. If I'm into Toyota, trust me, and I'm looking for a V6, there's no how I'll not have this car. I'm telling you as a Pojo freak. If I am a Toyota freak, just like a Pojo freak, I will have to upgrade this car. Unfortunately, it's very rare. The manual version of Camry Coupe. Remember, it's not even about Solara. This is Camry Coupe. The only Camry Coupe you can ever get so far that will be very fun to drive is this vehicle. And it will outlast any Camry you can think of, especially any modern Camry. Let's leave it at that. Let's forget about the earlier ones. Any modern Camry you can think of. So yeah, I will pick that V6 manual. It was like the last V6 manual Toyota did on their Camry. I think the saloon had the same thing. Anyway, let's look at some videos, one or two videos on this subject. Okay.
Good evening. This is our 2000 Toyota Solara.
This from Marcos Ibrahim. All right.
SE V6 model. It has leather, power driver's seat. It's a 5-speed manual transmission. I decided to take a video to just give. Seat. It's a 5-speed manual.
This is a V6 badge. SE V6. Just to point it out.
Transmission. I decided to take a video to just give you a better look at the body, the interior, the way it drives. It looks great, to tell you the truth. It's not brand new. If it was, it'd be $30,000. But it's got new tires on it. The body's relatively clean. There are no major dents or anything of that nature. I mean, it's not reconstructed. It's a clean title. It's a good car. It's got 100,000 miles on it. It drives really nicely. The seats are pretty clean. The bottom's not completely ripped. A little bit of wear here, but it looks fine. And it's fully intact. The car smells good, which is very important. Not moldy. There's no other ugly substances. The back seats are clean. The carpet's not ripped or torn. Power driver's seat here. Power windows, wood grain interior. This car is actually very nice. The AC blows ice cold. It's got a CD and a tape player. I would almost equate this to the Lexus, except that it's a 2-door Solara. It's a 5-speed manual transmission, which drives great, to tell you the truth. It's got the JBL sound system, which is...
Honestly, I was surprised when I read somewhere that at that time, Toyota started using JBL. And for what I read, people, comment on this. They said JBL was quite impressive. I'm talking about even this phase one. The sound was very good, very good. So that's an advantage for anyone who is interested on the V6 of the first generation Coupe, Camry Coupe. If you are lucky, you can get one with JBL system. JBL, they know how to produce good sound. In fact, it seems their sounds were even better in the older cars than their newer cars, honestly, compared to... now I'm using 406 and 407 to compare. I mean, their 406, the JBL system of 406 was quite better to the one in 407. That's for me. I have both cars with same JBL. I know the one where it sounds better.
Sounds very nice. It has a very high quality sound, crisp bass. You can adjust the bass, mid and treble. I'm driving here first gear, second gear. The clutch is good. There are no unwanted rattles. This is actually a very fine automobile for the price. You won't find a better deal for a nice leather clean Toyota Solara. And everybody knows Toyotas will last forever if you take care of them. So please feel free to call me. My name is Marcus. My number is 617 285-2966. Thank you.
It probably was about
The Infinity G.
the vehicle concerning this was published 13 years ago. So I think he wanted to sell the car. Let's look at the second one. So I'm not going to play video on that phase 2, the second generation. Just not worth it for me. There's no point. You can go and watch it later. So
This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. Guys, my name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2001 Toyota Camry Solara. Up front is a 2.2-liter inline-4.
So this guy did a review of with the 2.2 liter one. Did he say 2.2 or 2.4?
Down below is a Toyota Camry Solara. Up front is a 2.2-liter inline-4. Down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. If you'd like to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarsh.com/overdrive. But let's get back to that 2.2-liter inline-4. There was a V6 option as well as the inline-4. But that being said, I don't mind the 2.2-liter. It does its job. It's a pretty average engine. It's not really shocking to me, but we will still do an acceleration test on the test track because, of course. All right, so first gear in.
So remember, this engine has 136 horsepower. I didn't actually look up for the weight of this coupe, so I wouldn't know how fast it will be. Maybe you can check it out anyway. But I know aside the 2.2 on the first generation, there is 2.4 liter engine as well. I think that one was produced much later, before the end of the first generation Camry coupe. But at least that one has some decent power. It's almost the same power at 157 horsepower and 220, is it 220 or 230 Nm torque. So in other words, it's more the same power with the 2.2 liter engine in 406 coupe. That's a EW12J4. Same power. So yeah, it makes sense. Even if that one, let's assume the V6 manual is hard, is, of course, I expect it to be hard to get or find. Probably because most times they don't produce V6 manual that much, since there is no high demand for them. Demand is usually higher for the automatic, because majority prefer automatic. So when it comes to used cars, you can't easily get them. So, but if you can get the 2.4, they also have I believe we also have that manual option, 5-speed manual. Why not? Or you go for the automatic, but man, at that time, I think it was 4-speed automatic, so it won't really be an impressive drive for me.
The Solara. Yeah, not much going on there. Now, a lot of people.
Yeah, what do you expect? 136 horsepower on a big coupe like this. I mean, this car is bigger than 406. By just looking at it, it's bigger than 406. I mean, so what do you expect? It's like EW10. It's something with EW10 J4 engine in Peugeot 407. Let's just say like 407. Even though it's manual, but when you press it, it doesn't move like that. EW12, yes, yeah, now you are talking. But EW10 manual, so that's probably the same what he just felt when he drove this car. It's manual, yeah, you can trash it, but you get up and go.
Been criticizing me recently for talking about linear power bands. I've been saying a lot of cars feel linear, and it's honest to God, just because I've been driving cars that have pretty linear power bands. This car does not have a linear power band. You start to make power around 2,000, it gives up at about 4,500. It's a really slim power band. Up towards the top, it does rev to like 6,200 RPM. You're not making any power past 5. I will put money on the fact that you don't make any power past 5. It's
one of the things I love about the V6 Peugeot cars, including 505 V6 produced in 1986. It's even also after 5,000, power still keep coming. Yeah, I mean, this is it. See, I know most of people say this is the best engine. I mean, yeah, I know there is V8, there is V12, there is V10. I'm just saying, I mean, for everyday car, people mostly prefer the V6. It's like um so so when they press it on 407, that's a E12, yeah, can be very, very pushy. So um I mean, imagine when you now drive it on a V6 manual. Like I said, my 505 V6 keep pushing the RP. The RPM gets close to almost 6,000 or thereabout, 6,005, if I'm not mistaken. And that's even when you enjoy the sound. One of the things about VC, like I said, we have V8, V10, and the rest, which sounds better than the V6, but VC usually like not necessarily a supercar. That will be an average car. You use daily. Most times you don't drive a V8, V10, or V12. You as your daily car, a car you drive every day. So in other words, becomes a car you pamper, maybe once in a month or weekends and the rest. But the VCs, you get some performance and you can still use it every day, So, but then that fall, so that's why I when it comes to VCs, that sound, man, yeah, unfortunately, four cylinders have not been able to, replicate or produce same sound. They are very good to listen to. It might not be all VCs, but I tell you, they are good to listen to.
It's really a gradual drop off that's, I wouldn't say quite depressing, but this is not going to be a quick car. Now, like I said, paired to it is that 5-speed manual transmission, and sort of the gem of this review, because you don't see a lot of Camry Solaras in manual. It wasn't that popular, and obviously since 2001, 18 years ago, they've grown fewer and far between. And a couple things to note about the transmission. First of all, the actual shift knob sits really high, and so it has a decently long throw. It's a tall shifter for sure. The clutch is super, super light. It engages up towards the top of the pedal, but that could be attributed to the...
So, if I were to comment on the gear shift, yeah, I've even not Camry per se, but Toyota products, of that era, the 90s that were manual transmission. Yeah, the gear lever, they tend to be longer. Almost basically all cars at that time, even 504, 505, okay, those ones were in the 70s, 80s, but the older cars, they didn't produce them with shorter gear shifts, the two were a little bit longer. So, which was okay. Forget that now we are using cars, modern ones that are a little bit shorter. It now looked as if that was the norm. Back then, nobody had the issue with how long the gear is to shift to 1, 3, 4.
The fact that the car has 100,000 miles on it. But really smooth in and out of gear. The shifts are so easy, so light. I don't really even have to think about it. It's a really smooth and nice transmission. And it's really notchy too. It really feels like it's in...
But I don't know how to say that. I don't drive with shoes. Many people have been asking me, like, if I'm doing videos, they always see me remove what I'm wearing on the foot. I don't drive with shoes. I don't know. I've tried it in the past. I felt very uncomfortable. Few times I did, and I don't care what you think. See, I drive manual, so I have to make myself comfortable. Maybe that's if you feel uncomfortable driving manual and you wear shoes doing that. Maybe you can look at it, give it a try to see if it makes you more comfortable without shoes. I don't. Maybe because of my height, what I've noticed is if I'm wearing shoes, no matter how I shift my seat backward or anything, the shoes will make my leg to stay too high. That I'll be feeling very uncomfortable every time I'm raising my leg to press the clutch, the throttle. But without the shoes, the legs drop down, So, like I said, maybe for you, I don't know how your height. Maybe that you might not have an issue using your shoes to drive it. I don't, you know.
gear, and I really like that. I don't like numb manual transmissions. I think that's very counterintuitive. That's the exact opposite reason why I would want a manual transmission. I like to feel it when it's in gear and have that sort of pride of, yes, I'm in third gear. And you really do get that in the Solara, and some other cars you don't get that in. But you can really rogue gears here, and it's really, really satisfying. And last but not least, the Solara is front wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have, of course, gauges. I love 90s gauges, and I know that this is a 2001, and so it's not 90s gauges. But the reason I always say that in reviews is because this car was really designed in the 90s. A car doesn't just come out the year it was made. It took years and years of development. So really, this is a 90s car, and that becomes very apparent with the interior. But getting back to the gauges, they're very simple, very easy to read. On my far left, I have my coolant and fuel. In the center, I do have my speedometer, and then on the right, I have my tachometer.
Unfortunately, I will tell you, I like cars that have oil temperature gauge. Even 505 V6 has oil temperature gauge. Remember, it was produced in the 80s. So that's good thing that on one side, Toyota don't really, Coupe is supposed to have that. Maybe at that time they not developed that technology. Or maybe they felt it's not for Toyota products. Maybe in their Lexus is their premium brand. So maybe you find it in Lexus produced at that time. So, but I would like to have cars, especially performance cars. I don't know. Okay, maybe their V6 Solara has the oil temperature gauge. Who knows? But it's not a must. It doesn't mean that I will not buy if it doesn't have. But it will be something I will be excited to have, looking at every once in a while. I pay more attention to the oil temperature gauge than the coolant temperature gauge when I'm driving, especially on highway, or because it gives me. I use it to know when to push the car hard or when to let it drop a little. That's me.
Coolant and fuel. In the center, I do have my speedometer, and then on the right, I have my tachometer. On the steering wheel, I have one little tab for cruise control, and that's it. To the left, pretty easy to use, pretty easy to see. Obviously, it's not up to the standards of modern radios, but this isn't really a modern car, so can't knock it for that. Now we get to the...
I don't have issue with all these controls or buttons or gadgets. Virtually, no matter how new a car is, it will get old. So why bother try? It will get old. So what matters is that, like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, even the 505 1986 design, even up till today, it looks very impressive when you look at the dashboard, the way it was arranged. The design and it was a very good design dashboard. So that's what matters to me. It doesn't matter the age. It will look dated, but it will make sense. That's the way I say it. But there are some that even a newer this thing look very. You'll be wondering who approved this again. That's what I'm saying. Who approved this crap to be used on a vehicle?
The air conditioning and heating controls. Nothing really too crazy here, except for the fan control switch. Has low or high, and then only 2 options in between that. I feel like I normally see like low, high. You can kind of adjust it, to any point. There's no like set point, but there's 4 knobs. We can turn it all the way up, slightly down, slightly more down, and then low. So kind of interesting there. Then I do have a 12-volt outlet as well as an ashtray, well, a cigarette lighter, honestly. And then we come to the shifter. Like I said, the shifter is really tall, but it's really simple. I like the space around the shifter. I think it looks nice. And overall, this car is really, really well maintained, and I'm a big, big fan of it. Then for the center console, I have 2 little flip open cup holders and a center console. Now we'll talk about the seats. The seats is where I really, really start to think this really is a 90s car. very, very 90s with the seats. This is a coupe, so we will do a backseat review. Coupes really suffer from headroom issues. Interestingly enough, I do have grab handles right here for a car that is very low on power, I guess to help get out of the back seat. But like, I feel like this isn't in the optimal space. I feel like I'd more so grab the seat, because this is like, it's not that much more pulling power since it's so close. But I'm getting off track. The seats carry on with the Brunswick Zone flooring. I don't seem to have a center console. I do have an ashtray. No, flip out cup holders. Pleasantly surprised. Very, very bare bones basic back seats. I can't even open up the side windows. I don't get anything. They're here if you need them. But really, you can see I'm 5'11". My head is touching the top. And, you know, that's never good. But
see, whenever it comes to food, I keep saying that, just forget about the rear seat for adults. There are some actually that can, take adults and feel comfortable. But however, this one has sunroof. So any car that has sunroof, expect that the roof liner will be a little bit lower than the standard one without sunroof. So most likely the one without sunroof might have a little bit more space for the head than what you are looking at on the screen. So I don't really care about it. See, if you are buying a coupe, I'll tell you, consider the rear seat as an extra luggage storage space. That's how I see it. And that's how I see the rear seat for the coupe. It's only an emergency or once in a while that because people hardly feel want you to give them a lift on a coupe. When they notice a coupe, they probably will say, "I don't want to just go." So you hardly have need to carry somebody on the rear seat. That's why I advise, if you're a married man, a family man with children, only have these cars like a second car or weekend car or something. So in other words, it's not your practical car, the car you use every day for the family. Carry your children, there's no point. So let it not be your only car. If you're a family man with more than 2 children. And remember, even if you have only 1 child or 2 child, once they start growing up, 15, thereabout, you need another car, or you have to change the car.
But overall, it's not a horrible backseat. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not super comfortable. I do have power seats, power mirrors, which for 2001 wasn't, showboaty, but it wasn't the average. It wasn't the norm to have a power driver's
seat. Like I mentioned, this one even has the JPA,
seat and power mirrors. So let's talk about the looks. Obviously, this car has been really well maintained, very minimal rust, if any. I didn't see any, but I also didn't get down under the car. I like the look of it. I think it looks sleek. I like the 2-door. I don't think it looks modern. I don't think the look of it has aged particularly amazing, but I do think that it's a decent looking car. And
see, like I mentioned, I'm just watching this video for the first time. It looks decent. I mentioned it earlier as if I knew I was going to say that too, or as if I watched the video before. I've not watched it. Just it for the first time. It looks decent. It doesn't look modern. Like I said, that's why when it comes to classic cars, not every car will make classic. There are cars that when they age well, once you see a clean one, you appreciate the car. That's what we mean. As you can see, this is probably a recent video. We'll look at to know the year he published this video. So, but you can see the car is well maintained. It looks fairly clean, and as if it's like a 5-year-old vehicle.
For something that's not base model, you can't really ask much more of it. And overall, I really can't complain too much about the Solara. I think it's a decent looking car, and I think, honestly, a car this well maintained would definitely be worth it. This really is a little time capsule back to 2001. I have the little tape deck, I have the digital clock, the seats. I can't get over the seats. The seats are just so 90s. And so overall, I'm really pleasantly surprised.
The seat doesn't look comfortable, I looked at it, especially this phase 1, maybe the phase 2. This one doesn't even have that even sporty design. It doesn't look comfortable. But just like my 505 seat, I don't expect it to be that comfortable. You know, at that time, that wasn't their focus. But Coupe, you meant to. Well, like I said, you give and take. If you want comfortability, maybe the phase two might be the best option for you. Uh, but uh, I can't do without that look. I mean, that look will scare hell out of me. In fact, if I even if you gift me that car, after a week, I'll most likely sell off the car. As in that look, it can, it's not. There are cars you could say, okay, over time maybe you start to appreciate it. No, no, not that. It looks horrible.
Really genuinely think that for this car, the manual transmission is the saving grace. I think that's really the draw point to me. I love this transmission. It's so notchy, it feels so good. It's just paired to a dog of an engine. And so if you're looking to buy a Solara, especially one in manual, you definitely won't be disappointed by the driving experience shifting. You might be disappointed by the power, but like I said, they offered a larger V6, and so if you can find one, the V6 might be the way to go. It really feels like they put hours and hours into meticulously building a nearly perfect transmission that feels great, shifts great, it's easy to drive, a nice and light clutch, nice and easy engaging clutch, it's not cluttered, it's not bumpy. It really feels like they did that and then they're like, we built this great transmission. What do we stick it to? A 2.2 liter? Okay. It almost seems like a classic case of over-engineering one part and disregarding another. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned.
I think they realized the mistake. It's just like the Project 607. So they put the first production started with 2.0 liter engine, which is EW10 engine for with the same power with this 136 horsepower. Yeah, a good engine, durable, this and that. But then, man, imagine what's the weight of the car. I mean, even without knowing the weight, look at how large 607 is. So, just like he experienced, how do you expect this 2.0 to have a good driving experience on such a big car? So what now happened was, I think at about they started in 99 with that EW10 engine for 2.0. By 2002 or 2001, they stopped producing 607 with the 2.0. So they now maintain 2.2 liter engine. So I think that's what also happened in this case. So by the time they facelifted or the second generation, this Solara came out, they discontinued 2.2 on it. I started using 2.4. And this 2.4 has the same power with the 2.2 in 607. So you can see why it makes sense. They say that's what most time people think it's all about fuel economy, fuel economy. If you put a tiny engine on a car, just because the engine will be very small, it will consume less fuel, it will mess up the overall driving experience of the car. Within a short while, you feel very bored about the car. Yeah, it might not be costing you so much to fuel the car, but man, you want to get rid of that car. Because no matter how much you save your fuel, there's something called life. If there's no excitement around you, your car you drive, your workplace, yeah, no workplace sometimes sucks because man, you have to, as long as you get money from there to live your life, do things you need to do, take care of your family, do certain things. You can live with that. But outside of work, any other part of your life, you want to have certain things that makes life very exciting for you. So if your car that you spend most of your days or hours in the day, you are driving to work, depending on your distance from your place of work, you spend them in your vehicle. Coming back from work, same thing. If you are traveling, spend many hours. So you spend most of your time in your vehicle. Maybe not every day, but so that car needs to have some excitement, things that make you excited in it. Or that even when you can actually place what is making you excited, at least overall driving experience, let me put it that way, it becomes very boring. It makes your life a routine. At a point, you'll be like, maybe I need to change the car, even though it has car is it's not your problem. It could be if it's boring anyway. Okay, so like I said, he okay 4 years ago. So you can see this recent video, you know. So the car really aged well. Whoever that maintains that car really tries. So I'm going to post video link of both videos on this video description channel so that I can go and watch very well. So this is from Shooting Cars. That's the channel name. Okay, so back to I don't know which one will look make more sense. So if you like this one, hey, fine, why not go ahead? It's just that if you seek my advice, uh, horrible. It has two petrol engines, 2.4, which is one from the 57 engine, and I think that the 4 cylinder on this one has 5-speed manual for the second generation, but the V6 has only automatic for this generation. It has more power, yeah. I don't know about whether they have issues or anything. I don't really care. As long as my focus on this video will all the things I'll be showing you guys will be the ones I like, approve, or would like to test drive. Maybe let's see. Maybe you can change my mind if you want me to test drive the car and review it. Fine, let me know. My link is. I will put my phone number, WhatsApp phone number, and email address on the comment section. I will pin it there. You can do that to discuss how to do about it. But right now, not interested. I've seen this car many times, so it's not as if I don't know about it. My point is, as long as it's automatic, maybe if it's the 4 cylinder one with manual transmission, I'll be very much interested to do the review. But if the V6, automatic, I don't care, even if it has 400 horsepower. Yeah, that 4 cylinder one makes sense. If you're willing to overlook the exterior appearance, interior make a good sense. I mean, look at it. It looks very good. The well packaged. I'm not saying it's the best, but I mean at that particular time, 2003 to 2008, no, I'll give it to Toyota. They really designed it very well. Even the seat, even that seat, I'm not saying look at it, doesn't really have more sporty seats like that. But the point is, it has a better, made that. I think it's better than the Phase One. I think so. But still, when you compare to the Honda, BM, Benz, no, not even a match. So who knows? Like I said, this one has a decent. Like I said, if I am Toyota freak, there's no how I will not look for it. Unless I do not find one. Unless I do not find one, even if I will have to import. Honestly, this because this is like the best classic car you can ever get when it comes to Toyota. A coupe, a big size coupe, 5-speed manual V6 coupe. I mean, it's something like I said. I'm not talking about these smaller cars like Corolla. Maybe you have a Corolla Coupe. These are hatchback. Doesn't the value is not as much as this big V6 vehicle, coupe, not saloon, anything. 5-speed manual. Even if it's 4-speed manual, so it's manual. Man. So so it's up to you, whichever one you choose. So I'm going to end this so you guys can have anything you want to comment or or have a different or disagree with me on what this looks like. Hey, fine, you can post it on the comment section. Until next video.